How's everybody at home? Wave if you're at home. Hey. And you had a good dinner, yeah? Okay, good. We got a lot to cover tonight. You fresh? You feeling good? Feeling charged up? All right, fantastic. To start, I've got a good friend who's going to come up. We're just going to chat a little bit about business success, some strategies, some concepts, some of the things we already talked about. He's your friend. He's my friend. He's the author of Beach Money. Please welcome up Mr. Jordan Adler. Mr. Adler, it's been a long time.
Hi, everybody.
Have a seat.
Thank you. Oh, you're going to put me in the hot seat.
I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Why don't you tell everybody, give everybody kind of the brief history of Jordan Adler.
Well, grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago and picked up a book at a garage sale when I was in my 20s for a quarter called The 10 Napkin Presentations by Don Failla. And it's had a few different titles, but it's the same book. It's still out there. And that 25-cent book had a greater impact on my financial career than my college education, which was 60 grand, and I got a degree in landscape architecture. Moved to Arizona back in the 80s with a guitar, a suitcase, and $250, and I started answering little classified ads that were in the newspaper, the Arizona Republic, and applying for different network marketing opportunities. Yeah. And over the course of 10 years, I signed up in 11 different companies, one at a time, and never signed up one distributor, and never made a penny in any of the companies. I was in Dr. Hill's Potent Eyes Spirulina, and Amway twice, and Nishika 3D cameras, and Network 2000, and on and on and on. And so in 1992, I joined my 12th network marketing company, and the long story short, figured out how to sign up a distributor, figured out how to give a little simple presentation, and while I had a job working for America West Airlines, the airline had just filed bankruptcy, and so they cut my pay down to $12,000, or to actually $14,000 a year, and I was working my network marketing business, showing the business at a little coffee place, and over the next 13 years, I signed up 129 distributors, and it grew to 85,000 people, and I made $8 million. And that was
good.
So that's in a nutshell. When I was still living in an apartment, in a house on it was actually 505 West 16th Street on the Arizona State University campus. My income at my network marketing business was $35,000 a month, and I was paying $200 a month in rent. I'm not kidding you. When I moved out of that place.
And that company ended up going out of business.
Yeah, I was there for 13. I was there for.
It was
13
called.
years.
It was a company called Excel, Excel Communications. The paying for long distance on a per minute basis went extinct, and so did the company. And then he found a new home.
10 years ago, I joined another company and started signing up distributors there. Instead of signing up one distributor a month, I started signing up one distributor a week. And my business took off, and this is what, and I've been doing that since.
And you've earned?
I've earned $11 million in my current company.
11 million there in the last 10 years, yeah.
Now, thank you. The one thing you gotta really, now keep in mind, this is in two different companies, very, very different companies, very different products. What I found out is that people in sales that are good at sales, now I'm not talking about network marketing, I'm talking about sales for a minute. People that are really good in sales, they get good at the skills of sales and the mindset of sales. They can go into any sales organization, doesn't even matter the product. They can become successful if they're good in sales because they understand the mindset and they have the skills, right? And what I've noticed about network marketers, when you get good at network marketing, the skills and the mindset, you can go to any company and you just follow the same, I just follow the same system, very simple patterns, in fact, almost to the point where it's profoundly simple, the skills required to build a successful business. And most people, as cliche as it sounds, most people just make it way more. The biggest challenge is taking the complex and making it simple so you can communicate it to somebody in a way that they go, I get this and I can do it. They have to be able to say, I get it and I can do it, and I can do it now. Not, I get it, it sounds great, but I could never do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I get it, it sounds really great, but it sounds really complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be, I get it, I can do it, and I can do it now. And I can communicate it in a way that somebody else is going to get it so that they can communicate it. So like what I do, and I learned this from a guy who, when I met him, he was broke, and he went on to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And I would see him, I'd watch him give this speech. It didn't matter if he was talking to 5 people or if he was talking to 10,000. He'd give the same 1-hour speech. He'd give the same 1-hour speech to everybody. And the speech was 3 points every time. The same 3 points. And it doesn't even matter what the 3 points were. But one of them was simplicity. One of them, he talked about quitting, and he said, I've never read a book called How to Quit Your Way to Success. But he talked about 3 things in that 1-hour speech, and he spoke slowly and he stuttered. He wasn't a real interesting speaker. He was a slow speaker, and he stuttered, and he said the same thing over and over and over again, almost to the point of, okay, like, what's next? But the message, when we were done, we were like, okay, I get it, it's simple, and I can do it. And so when I joined, when I finally got that, I applied that to that company that ended up going away, but I took that same principle and I brought it to my new company, and I said, like, what are the 3 things, the 3 simple things that I can tell to somebody so that they will get it and they could communicate it to someone else?
Remember I talked about DMO earlier? Daily method of operation. What are those 3-4 things? Sometimes it's 2 things, sometimes it's 3, depending on your company, depending on the product or service. But locking in on that, the companies that have radical growth, everybody's kind of doing the same every day. Some are doing it more, some are doing it less, but everybody's doing those activities every single day. The companies that are stagnant or in decline typically have lots of different daily methods of operation, and everybody's most of the time confused as to what type of methodology they should be following. Big difference. So, Jordan, let me ask you this. Tell them about your journey from your credit card journey.
Oh, I left where my credit. Can you grab? They're under my jacket. Yeah, right under my jacket there. Yeah. So I had I used my credit. So back when, some of you will remember this, some of you won't. It's quite a different world today. But back in the 80s, if you had a credit card that had a $300 limit on it, and you maxed it out and you paid your payment on time, what would they do? They'd raise your limit, and what else would you see happen? Your mailbox would be stuffed with applications, pre-approved applications, where you just had to sign it and send it in, and they send you another card. And so I got like 10 in the mail, and I started signing them and mailing them in, and they started sending me cards. And I had 22 credit cards, and they just kept sending them. And my balance, like my available balance, was something like $35,000, and my job was paying me less than $20,000 a year. And so I was getting involved in network marketing companies on those credit cards, buying products, going to trainings, listening, like buying audio tapes, getting all the subscriptions, and that was my education. That was my network marketing education. And I maxed out my cards, and by the time 1992 hit, I had $36,000 in credit card debt on 22 credit cards, and all the cards except for one was maxed out. And my accountant told me I had to either come up with $1,000 a month or file bankruptcy. And that was really when I turned it up, and I figured out this very simple, like, what changed? It all was about me. It had nothing to do with joining the right company at the right time. I mean, I was in my company for 33 months before I started making anything worth talking about. After my first year, I was making $180 a month. After my first year working the business, by my 3rd year, I was at $2,800 a month, and I went on to make $8 million with that company. But these were my cards. These are the actual cards. It took me 3 years to pay them off, and I paid off every penny of the $36,000. I cut them all up. Today I have 2 cards, and I'm gonna tell you this just because it was a dream, and it doesn't matter. Like, here's the deal. Every single one of us have different dreams. Like, we all have certain things we wanna do and accomplish, and some of those dreams are important to us because they represent something. They're a symbol. It's just a symbol of success. Others, we have desires, things we want to do with our friends and our family. There's charitable things we want to do, but everybody's got different dreams. None of them are good and none of them are bad. It's just, what is your dream, right? Well, at some point down the road, one of my dreams was to get a black American Express card. And so I was going to replace these with a black. Now, American Express, you got to pay it off every month. And they won't even tell you how much you have to spend on the card before they'll send. You can't apply for a black American Express card. If you call them, they won't tell you how much you have to spend. But it's somewhere around $40,000 a month, and you have to pay it off every month for at least a year. And you have to have a platinum card, or the platinum card before that. So I got with my bookkeeper, and I said, we got to put everything on that Platinum American Express card. And then I did get that. So I have 2 credit cards today. I've got a black card that is a symbol. Like for me, that was like, I wanted that card because it was like overcoming this barrier and like moving to a new level in life financially. That was a big thing for me. So so I have that card, and then I've got another card. So the platinum card, the black card is for personal, and the other card is for business. So.
I'll tell you one quick story about the goals.
Yeah.
Sometimes having different kinds of goals. I don't know why you're doing what you're doing. I don't know why you're here. Everybody's got different things that drive them. But when was it over at the Tom Ford store? We were at the Tom Ford. I think I was buying, not this suit, but a different suit. Yeah, 3 months ago maybe.
We finished our event in November.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I guess it was a long time. It was 6 months ago. I'm in the Tom Ford store, and some guys from your company. Oh, you still got to go over there, dude. Anyway, sorry. But some young guys were in the store from a network marketing company, and I'm looking at my, trying things on, and I'm listening to them talk to the manager, and they're saying, "Sir," they're super polite young guys, in suits and stuff. "Sir, our dream is one of these suits. Can you show us which one is the best one? And could we possibly try one on just so we could take a picture and feel what it would feel like to have this thing?" And I'm like, oh, I know where these guys, I know where these guys are, where they live. I know this story. So I'm sitting with Marina, and I are sitting over there, and finally the manager says, "So what do you guys do?" And they said, "Well, we're involved in network marketing." I holler over, "Network marketing? Who does those crazy? Who does that crazy thing?" And they're like, "What? What's going on? What's going on?" And I come over, pat them on the back. "Hey, good job. Let's get the picture with this and picture with that." And they're like, "Well, which company do you work with?" And I said, "Well, you ever heard of GoPro?" "Oh my God!" They pull it out. They got it in their pocket. I said, "Turn it over." And I said, yeah. And they're like, freaking out, taking pictures. They had some conference at the same time. So
I don't know if I ever told you this story. So I go into there's a place in Vegas called Samba Latte at Summerlin. It's a coffee place. And Eric had just had the big GoPro event here. This was probably a year and a half ago, maybe,
okay.
Something like that. He had the big GoPro event. And I walked in, and there's a table inside, and Eric's book is sitting on the table and with a backpack. But there's nobody there. And so I stood there because I knew that whoever it was must have been at the event. So the guy comes back, and he sits down, he's with the book, and I go, "I was just with Eric at the event." He goes, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you." And so I run out to my car and get a copy of Beach Money. Mm-hmm. And I give him a copy of Beach Money. And the next day I run into a guy, and he said, "Oh, it's the weirdest thing. I was in Samba Latte, and I walked by this table, and there was a copy of Beach Money sitting on the table." I thought that was funny. Apparently it wasn't that funny.
Well, it's serendipity.
Yeah, it was kind of serendipity.
Yeah.
The next day I run into this guy, and he walked into the same Samba Latte and saw Beach Money that I gave to the guy that, anyway, never mind.
You can scratch that one off.
Edit that out. Just edit that little clip out of there. That didn't.
It reminds me, down that same story of the Tom Ford store, I was... when I was really trying to make it and I was broke and I didn't have any money, I read an article in Success Magazine that said the power of the $1,000 suit. And back then, that was big. So I was, and in the article it said, don't wimp out and buy a $900 suit. If you're gonna do it, do it. The suit has to have a comma. And I was like, wow, and you're gonna feel better, feel stronger, all that stuff, so I did. I searched it all out, and I bought my $1,000 suit, and I wore that thing to everything forever. Just changed shirts constantly, changing shirts. But sometimes funny little dreams, right? Funny little goals get you moving. Jordan, let's talk about velocity, speed, a burst of energy, a burst of activity, and what that can do for a person's organization, for their business, for their growth, for their confidence, all those types of things.
Yeah, whenever it's very clear. It's like what Eric's been talking about the whole session so far. That when you look at people that have made the big money in network marketing, there's a level of energy that comes with that, and the cliches are cliches for a reason, because they're
true.
They're true. That's why they become cliches. So the speed of the leader does determine the speed of the pack. Like you guys have to be the one to set the pace for your group. And if you don't have a group, be an example worth following. I had a mentor years ago named Jay Smith. He passed away, and he used to say, only do what's worth duplicating. What do you want your group to do? Do that. Actually do a little more than that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want people to follow, you want to give your people something that will be inspiring to them. And the way to do that is to be a great example. Like, make some money, Like, why would somebody want to follow you if they know you're not making money? Like, why would they want to, you know what I mean? So you want to set the pace for your group.
And let me add one other thing is, some people think if they're going to work really hard, they got to get creative, and they have to do really hard things inside the hard work. Complicated things, difficult things, challenging things. And the super successful in our field do the simple things, but just more. That's hard work. That's the hard work. If there's the DMO, the daily method of operation, they do that, and they only do that, but they do that in mass. They'll do it 5, 10, 20 times more than the average person in a day. That's the hard work. It's not saying, okay, I'm going to do this really complicated thing. It's just doing the simple things more.
Yeah, like when I look at the system that we teach, and it's very simple. Like, we've got a little simple system for making a list. And it involves, like, really just now, it's simple. Go into your cell phone and go into your Facebook friend list. I mean, what more do you need? You've got everything right there, right? So there's where you start with your list, right? And then as far as setting up an appointment, now I don't have Eric's steps in front of me, but what I've always done, it's almost like I use the approach, I'm in a rush, I don't have a lot of time, and I tell people that first thing I teach people to do, and the first thing I do when I get on the phone is I let somebody know right up front, first of all, they're very busy and you're very busy. So the first thing I do is I tell them, I don't have a lot of time. And the second thing I do is I tell them why I'm calling, the reason I'm calling. I go right down to it. I keep it very simple, very short. I tell them on the call, right up front, you're gonna have questions. I'm gonna answer your questions when we meet. I tell them in advance, so they know that they can't ask me questions because what? I'm in a rush. I don't have a lot of time. I'm gonna answer questions. I know you're gonna have questions. I'll make sure they all get answered. But the reason I'm calling is I'd like to find a time where we can get you on the calendar. I want to show you something that I really think you're going to like. Let's get together. Let's find a time. When can we do that? So my calls, honestly, Eric, are 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. My appointment setting calls are 2 minutes. I can set up in 10 minutes, I can set up 5 or 6 or 7 appointments. And then I'm done for the week. Like, I'm boom, 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 boom.
Well, let me ask you this, Jordan. Everybody here is ready for another level. I haven't done my inventory yet to see who's level 1, level 2, level 3, and not judging on any of those things. But I would guess that a good portion of these people are going to be level 3 at some point in the calendar year 2014. What advice would you give this group as far as how they approach that, how they approach preparing mentally, physically, spiritually for that explosion of activity?
Well, there's nothing I can tell you guys that Eric hasn't already put up on the board.
Sure there is, tons of it.
Yeah, really. Okay, let me just say this. Like, when you get something that's out there that you really, really want, that'll make a huge, here's what most people do, is most people give up on what they want. They rationalize. They come up with all these reasons why they either A, can't have what they want, or B, it's not worth it it's like it's not that important. They like diminish their dreams. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be really excited and clear. You want to pick things in your life that would make a huge difference for you. Not a little difference, not it's going to make your life a little better, but something that's going to really compel you and move you and get you really excited about life. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that there's a decision point. Mm-hmm. It's like, and I'm going to equate it to, it's kind of related to your airplane example, but I'm going to make it very real life. Like, I flew hang gliders for 7 years, and I'm going to make the whole thing real life. So I remember my income was very low at the airline, and I was up camping with a group of friends on Mingus Mountain in Arizona. And we took a hike to the top of the mountain where the towers were, and there were these beautiful hang glider set up in the forest. Like, there were probably 30 or 40 of them set up. Beautiful, colorful hang gliders. Like Dacron and Kevlar wrapped around, the Dacron was wrapped around the Kevlar, and then people were putting a little carabiner and hooking into the strap on the glider and literally stepping off the mountain into the wind, like an eagle. And I remember standing on the mountain, the thermals would take the gliders up to where they were like, they call it specking out, where the gliders would speck out over the mountain, where it was little just colored dots in the sky over the mountain. And I remember the feeling of like how miraculous it would be to be one of those guys. And I saved up $500 over 6 months to do that. But there had to be a decision, because it's a huge commitment to run off a mountain in a hang glider. All right? And you get one shot at taking off and one shot at landing. There's no like going around. You know what I'm saying? So, but I will tell you this, and Eric touched on it with the airplane example he gave. You cannot run off the mountain with any hesitation at all. No. Like none. You got to be all in, 100%. And I remember the gripping fear after preparing for months. The first time I actually, because you don't go from, it's like one day you go from like down here to one day you're at the top of the mountain. It's not like you gradually work your way up the mountain. It's like you learn all the skills close to the ground, and then one day they go, okay, today you're ready for the mountain. And the landing zone is 5 miles away. And you're by yourself. There's nobody with you. And I can remember the day that I was going to be doing that. It was a cloudy day. There was a very light breeze. And I can remember walking up to the launch, and I had a guy on this wire and a guy on this wire helping me get up there. And what you do is you stand on the launch like this. You check, you clip in and you do your hang check, make sure everything's good. And then it's your decision as to when you go, like what the wind's doing. You got to make sure that the trees are all moving down here, because that means there's winds coming up. You got to make sure the yarn on the trees is pointing towards you, and that the yarn on your wires is pointing directly towards you. You got this nice, thick visual and air moving up towards you. And when you're ready, you say clear, and then you run. And you can't leave the mountain until that glider is flying. Like, in other words, if it's not flying, you're going to fall. So you got to run until the glider is flying, and then it lifts you up over the mountain. And that's kind of how it is. But the reason I tell you this is it's all the same is in this business. Because I was doing that before I was doing network marketing. But the mindset is the same. It's like you have to first have the dream, then you have to make a decision, then you have to train, and then you have to run off with everything you have. And then depend on what you've learned, like, because you don't know what's going to happen after you run off that mountain. You have to like have confidence in what you've learned. But I learned a strategy that worked for me, and it worked for me for many years in my network marketing business as well. And the strategy is, it's completely insane for me to think about running off a mountain with Dacron and Kevlar strapped to myself. Like, it feels insane to me to do that. So what I had to do is I had to separate myself, my conscious mind, from the act of running off the mountain. Mm-hmm. So what I used to do when I was doing my presentations, when I was like frozen with fear, doing my network marketing presentations at the beginning, is I would literally, for the moment of starting, because once I started, I was fine. But before I started, I literally disconnected my brain. This is how I did it. I disconnected my brain from the act of doing. And I mechanically just did it. I remember standing on the launch multiple times and literally saying, like, turning off the voice and just saying, everything's perfect, go. And you know, I did that for many years in my network marketing, not for a few years in my network marketing business. Every single time I would show the business because I was afraid. What are they going to say? I mean, I had the same fears that everybody else does. To this day, I mean, Eric knows my fears because we talk and he's always fighting with me about it, right?
Not
right?
fighting.
What?
Not fighting, just
Not
encouraging.
Fighting, just encouraging. He's always very encouraging. Yeah. So, but it's like there's like the video camera is like, I'm fine with a video camera like this, but you put a video camera in my face and say, make me a video, and I'm like,
yeah, he shuts down.
I freak out.
We have to
this day.
We have to go through the next exercise. You just given me the key for when we're going to do the next video. You just have to say clear before we do it.
Clear. Yeah, right. But then you have to drop to the ground. The wind has to be just right.
The wind has to be just right. Two quick things. One is tell people what it's like to live the life of a network marketing professional after you've paid the price. What's that like?
Yeah.
How's that life?
You know, I'm in life just like you, and I meet people every day that are in all different levels of financial success and levels of freedom, and I know there's a percentage of you in this room that have had a taste of that, what it feels like to have a residual check that comes in. It really does lower your stress levels significantly when you know that there's a check coming in next month, whether you go to work or not. Mm-hmm. It does. It lowers your stress level significantly. It doesn't take all the stresses away. We're human. We've got lots of things. We all have, human experiences going in our lives. But I got to tell you something. I have to tell a story.
Yeah.
So I'm in the Starbucks at our convention at the Marriott 3 weeks ago or so. And a woman comes up to me that I'd never met, and she introduced herself. Her name was Carolyn, and she was from New Zealand. And I said, what do you do? And she says, well, I'm a travel agent for the past 25 years. Now, I come from the travel business, and I know that the travel agency business has changed significantly over the past 25 years because of the internet. We search our own flights, we book our own travel, we do our research. We don't need travel agents like we did before, and I just assumed that she was struggling financially because she was a travel agent. So I said, how's it going? Expecting a negative response. And what she said to me was, it's going great. I just had my best year ever. And I'm like, well, what do? Do you book cruises or what? And she goes, no, I book space. And I go, space? She goes, yeah, I book space. And I'm thinking space in hotels, space on cruise ships. She goes, space. She is working with Virgin Galactic, $250,000 per ticket, and you get to go on the space shuttle with Richard Branson, and you get to hang out with Richard Branson at Necker Island, and she sold a bunch of those tickets, and she's excited about the dream of helping people that have the resources and the dream to be able to go to space in a space shuttle. All of a sudden, taking a private jet trip around the world doesn't sound that exciting anymore. Like now, I want to do that. But the thing that's so cool about it is that I have and you have the mechanism that can take you there. Yeah. Like, what do you want that really would change your life? You have in your hands, every single one of you already have a mechanism that can take you there. And so the life that I live is the ability to say yes to things that I want to do. Like, for example, when I wrote Beach Money, I didn't need the money. I don't need the money today. So I didn't write Beach Money to make money. 100% of the profits from Beach Money goes to charity. And one of the things that I wanted to do is there's an organization called Kiva that funds loans to entrepreneurs all over the world that are in third world countries that want to start businesses. And I thought, what if I could take the money from Beach Money and loan that money to entrepreneurs around the world in developing countries and help them start businesses? They pay the money back, and then I can reloan it out again. Well, we've helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs start businesses all over the world to the tune of a few $100,000. So, but see, I get to say yes to things today that I couldn't say yes to before. And I can say yes to dreams that in the past weren't even, like, for example, I could go, how much do I've been able to, because of this business, I could have never done this anywhere else. I've got to experiencing flying around the world in private jets, landing in Iceland to refuel, then flying to Europe. And when we get to Europe, we get picked up in limos, and then they close the carnival for us, and we go through and we get to ride all the rides, just our little group, and then we go to Amsterdam, and we're riding around, and we rent these boats and riding around in the canals in Amsterdam and stopping and having dinner with our friends and just picking people up along the way, and just all kinds of really fun, cool things that you get to do with your friends that you could never do if you had to go to a job every day. I was in a cubicle for 17 years. 17 years at a job at the airline and working for the city of Phoenix. I remember Elvio. Elvio smoked a cigar. This was back when you could still smoke cigars inside the building at the city offices. And I remember getting to my first day on the job, Elvio was around the partition and he was smoking a cigar. And the smoke was pouring over now today I love the smell of smoked cigar smoke, but back then I was like, I don't want to sit every day with a guy smoking cigar, but every day he was smoking cigars and the smoke was just filling the room. And I thought to myself, this guy's been there for 20 years, and if I don't get out of here, I'm going to be just like Elvio. I don't want to be sitting in a cubicle 20 years from now smoking a cigar. So
let me ask you one more question.
Sorry, did I get
No, it's great. It's great.
Did I get a little out of control?
Nope.
I was like Rosanna Dana for this just a second.
All right. Think back through your career. What was your favorite year? What year did you have the most fun?
1996.
1996. Now, why?
Well, I shouldn't say I'm having.
I understand, but I'm making a point.
1996 was for me, it was a huge triumphant year for me. Triumphant. I remember walking out on stage, 14,000 people. In the moment, like all the experiences of my past came back to me, like of the fear of public speaking. And here I am walking out in front of a crowd of 14,000 for the first time. I'd never spoken for a group over 100 people. My checks were skyrocketing into the tens of thousands of dollars a month. They were going up by $3,000 to $5,000 a month. I had one month where my checks went up $12,000 in 1 month. I had 3,000 people a month joining my business. And this was it was a journey that led up to this moment. And I remember being in the limelight and just looking out over the thousands and thousands of people and just being just so incredibly grateful and just overwhelmed with love and just.
How long was that after you started that company?
It was 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
So what I wanted you to do is get a little picture of what the life is like on the other side, and then also understand the emotion of the breakthrough itself, the emotion of earning your place on the stage, the emotion of your check being a reflection of how many people that you've helped. The emotion of that, because it's a powerful thing. I had that same thing, when I was 29, had that big 14,000 people, had my chance to talk to that group and do that stuff, have that breakthrough, built my confidence, built up all kinds of things. But I wanted you to feel that too. So we wanted to have Jordan just come up and say a few words. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got value from it. Give him a little love, would you? Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, keep those old nasty cards. So yeah, do you ever see the black card? It's like thicker. It is. It's like thick. It's like made out of titanium. You want to pass it around and we'll get it back to you eventually. Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool. Like super thick. Yeah. You can throw it and cut people. All right. So you ready to get into structure? Yes. Okay. Now I want to warn you a little bit ahead of time. Tonight's going to be a little bit overwhelming. I'm just going to give you all the information. The reason why I want to give it to you all in one burst is I want you to be able to go sleep on it, just kind of digest it, have a little time. Tomorrow we're going to distract you with some other things in the morning. We'll bring it all around to the whole program in the afternoon. Okay? So, first part of this, we talked about the basic structure, 5 things. First part of this is designing your campaign. Now, and here's why I want to talk about this. Because depending on where you're at, where your company's at, where you're at personally, your story of what this campaign's going to be about is important. Let's say you're with a new company. Your story might be about the newness, the new and exciting. Let's say your company just came out with a new product or service and you want it to be about that product or service. That's going to be the theme. That's why you're doing this. The reason why I'm doing this particular campaign, this 90-day launch, is because I want to capitalize on this particular product release. Or it might be about a road to some particular event. See what I mean? Lots of different hooks, but the hook is important because when you go tell the story, you want that to be logical and make sense, especially if you've been with your company for a while. Let's say you just got started. That could be your story. We're about to do something special. It might be about your local market. You're going to dominate this local geographic location, and we're putting a team together to do it. You hear me? Lots of different ways that you can go, but I'm going to give you a lot of suggestions, and you can pick based upon your situation, okay? So, one could just be general growth. It's the most common. We're going to capitalize on this, this moment in time. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, and the people who get involved are going to get wealthy because we're going to lock arms, and together we're going to be more powerful than we could have been individually. We're going to do some amazing things. The people who get around this are going to make a lot of money. People who ignore it are going to be sorry that they did. So general growth, it's the most common. You also need to decide, and there is a decision at some point here, for personal campaign, or is it a group campaign? Now, my suggestion to you, there are times when you have enough lines going, you got so much activity as a leader, that it might make sense for you to focus the campaign on your group, to see how many people in your group you could get engaged in a particular activity, okay? Maybe there's a tool that the company's released or you've released that is a great recruiting tool, and you just want the campaign to be about that. And you want to see how much you can move that campaign through into the public through an organization of people. So you create a campaign around that. You understand what I'm saying? So there are times when you're going to do that. My strong suggestion to you is you need to have a piece of this be personal. A piece of it needs to be personal. Don't hide behind the group. In other words, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. If you go out there and you go recruit 20 people again, inside of whatever the campaign is, your level of respect, esteem, leadership is all going to be recognized on a different level than if you just tell people, oh, we're going to do this, but really I just want you to do it. That's what a lot of leaders do. We are going to do this, and the team goes, what do you mean we? I haven't seen you do anything in a long time. Show me something, right? So you got to decide, is it personal or group? There are times for both. And I will tell you this, sometimes for your personal 90-day game plan, my suggestion to you is to do a personal one to recruit your 20 and build that new class of 2014. Because you can do a group one at 60% throttle. You could do a campaign with your group at half speed. It doesn't have to have that same intensity, okay, in order to be able to do that. So you could do that anytime, but I will let you know that sometimes there are differences. 3, it could be around a product. Is there a new product launch or a product that you're particularly excited about inside of your organization? Some new service for some of you that have services? Is there something that's timely because it's connected in the news or it's connected to something that's going on in the world today that you could latch on and have that as a hook? Here's why we're doing this at this particular moment. Okay, those of you in weight loss, talk about the obesity epidemic. See what I mean? Those of you at different services, you can talk about stuff in the news that's going to be connected to that. That's why we're doing this. So all of this is a kind of a reason why you're going to go out and talk to people with a little bit more aggression, a little bit more intention, is because there's an urgency built in. A tool. We talked about you can build a campaign around a tool. One of the most successful campaigns I ever did in my life was in late 1992. The company didn't have any tools, really. It was kind of a newer company. And I came out with a little audio cassette. It's still my favorite tool of the world today. I'm so sad. There's no place for audio cassettes in the world anymore. Audio cassettes used to be awesome. Do you remember you used to get them at different lengths, 20 minutes, 40 minutes? So you'd buy the different lengths of the audio cassette. And the thing I loved about them is when they were done, they would just flip over inside your car. They just flip over and go back and reverse the other way, and then they'd flip over again, go back the other way. I love that. Now you have a CD, you start the car, turn the car off. Where did you leave off? I don't know. But it doesn't let you know. It's not the same, I'm telling you. So sad. Now there's no place for DVD anymore. There's no players. You give a DVD to somebody, where are they going to plug it in? So their kid's Xbox? I mean, you're running out of places to put a DVD into. It's weird. But anyway, I made this audio cassette with my voice. I wrote out a script, and it was the name of the company, ... a career choice. That's all it was. And the whole front of it was the story, about 20 minutes long, of me telling the story, and the other side was just testimonials of people who had a life-changing experience with the company. That was it. And we released this audio cassette, and it came with a little paper sleeve that went over the top of it, and a person could put their phone number on the paper sleeve. They could write their phone number on it. And the whole campaign, the tool was, I think, 40 cents. Cost 40 cents. So you can get 100 of them for $40. 100. So people would get 100. The whole campaign was get 100 and get them into a prospect's hand in 7 days. Just taught people how to hand them out with urgency. If I give this to you, will you listen to it? All that stuff. Okay? And then after that, 2 a day. After you get your 100 out, then 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. Every day, put 2 in your pocket. Don't go home until those 2 are gone. Even if you have to leave it on the gas pump, if you have to... Seriously, I saw that thing. We sold 1 million of those in 6 months. I saw it in overhead bins in airlines. I saw it on the carousel going around and around by itself. People joined the business because they bought it and it was in a car that was sold in the glove box. They listened to it, found a way to join the company. It was unbelievable. 1 million of them. Why did I go from nothing to $980,000 that year? 1 million audio cassettes went a long way. That tool, that became so ingrained in the culture, it was unbelievable. That one little tool. So sometimes people didn't know, they didn't even really need to know what to do. All they knew how to do is get that to somebody, get them to listen to it, and then follow up. Then get them on a 3-way call, and then take them to an event. That was it. It was the whole deal. So there's a campaign around the tool. You could do a campaign around one-on-ones. I'm a big believer in face-to-face. I'm a big believer in a sitting down with somebody, telling the story. A one-on-one campaign. I got a friend from Texas. His name's Terry. Here's what he did. He did a 10-day major blitz. I have all the stats in my phone. I don't have my phone with me because he texted me all the stats. But this is about, I think, 6 years ago. He started with a company, maybe longer than that, 7 or 8 maybe. But he started with a company, and he did 140 one-on-ones in 10 days. All in Starbucks. 140 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in 10 days. 10 a day, or 14 a day on average. He got it down to about 10, 15 minutes. Here's the story, you in or you out. There's another person waiting right over here. They're either going to be in your upline or your downline. It's your choice. And he signed up somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 of those 140. And he worked that business for about 6 months. And then he stopped working it. He started another business. He owns a network marketing company today. But he just went off and started another business, left that alone. He still makes today over $100,000 a month for that 10 days and supporting that group for 6 months. Over $100,000 a month, every month, just shows up in his mailbox because of a one-on-one campaign. So you might not have enough one-on-ones going on in your particular culture. Maybe you want to promote more face-to-face interaction and create a blitz-oriented campaign around it. Okay? That's an example. Home meetings. How many people have home meetings as part of your culture? Okay? Some do, some don't. If you do, or if it's something that you want to encourage in your group, you could do a campaign centered around that. Okay? So I've done many campaigns around that. This is more along the lines of what you would do with a group. Okay? So we created a 30 and 30 club. How many people are going to commit to being in the 30 and 30 club, which means 30 home meetings in 30 days? You either will host or attend a home meeting 30 times in 30 days. And if they were in, then they got all kinds of rewards. And if they decided not to, that was fine. But there was lots of recognition, lots of inclusion, lots of benefits, lots of pride, encouragement for that 30 and 30 club, as an example. I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow morning, and we're actually going to do a blitz together. So make sure tomorrow morning, and everybody at home, well, it'll be easier for you. Make sure, 1, you have your cell phone. 2, bring your charger just in case. Okay? I don't want you to have to go back to the room. 3, if you have a physical calendar, bring it. Okay? So just make sure you do those things, because we're going to have a very interactive and very interesting exercise that we're going to be going through tomorrow morning, talking to you about Blitz. So I'm going to put Blitz aside for a moment. It's one of my favorite things. The Blitz campaign does more than you can imagine. 8 is rank. This is about, maybe it's a campaign around a particular rank. What rank is a building block inside of your particular organization? Think about whatever that is, okay? And let's call it level X. So the campaign could be around how many level X people are we going to promote in the next 90 days? And put a number on it. We're going to do blank level X's, 100 level X's in the next 90 days. Or maybe it's 90 and 90, something catchy like that. We're going to promote out 90 people in 90 days. Who's going to be first? Who's on the leaderboard? Who's going to be second? Who's going to be third? Who's going to be fourth? The first 10, we're going to have a special call with the CEO of the company. The next 10, we're going to do some other special thing. All 90, we're going to have a special reception the night before the convention. See what I mean? Giving people pride of being one of the 90. The examples that you can use in order to be able to create a campaign around a particular thing. So it might be around a rank, it might be around income, and it could be around events. Most of this is about group, okay? Not about personal. Sometimes it's about personal, but mostly about group. I'll give you an example. I'm a big believer in a regular opportunity presentation in a city, in a market. You can decide whether that's going to be once a week, twice a month, once a month, whatever it's going to be. I believe that builds the fiber that connects an organization. I believe it builds up the presenters in the group. And my personal feeling is the more presenters you have in the group, the stronger your group. It's true. The more presenters, the more people who can get up on stage and kill it, the stronger your group's going to be. And what is the training ground for building up presenters? One, home meetings, but bigger than that, an opportunity presentation that's larger, like at a hotel or some type of a place, some type of an event center where they have to get up and really present to their peers. And they can learn in a comfortable environment. They have to face their fear, they have to do it, but they want to do it. They want to get up in front of people. Count the number of amazing presenters in your group, and I can basically tell you the strength of your organization, the strength of your check. And if it's just you, or if it's just a few, then your organization is very vulnerable. So once they burn that presentation groove, their confidence just soars. So I've done campaigns around events that says, we're going to build a regular opportunity presentation in 50 cities in the next 50 weeks. And we're going to build outside of our local market. Who wants to do it in Phoenix? Somebody raised their hand. Okay, you. Who wants to do it in Dallas? Who wants to do it in Sacramento? Who wants to do it in Detroit? And we start asking people. We're looking for people who are going to head up that market. And we give them a sense of insider and belonging and pride and everything else. See, all of these are just tricks for your brain to get you to be creative and build an organization, learn how to promote. That's what they all are. See what I mean? You can use any one of them to get financially free. Product, tool, one-on-one, home meetings, blitz techniques, ranks, events, whatever you want to use. Now, this is, like I said, it's mostly for promoting a group, getting a group to do more activity than they have already done. Now I want to talk about the personal. Here's one of the things that's really important and often overlooked. Your 90-day game plan story. Your story. Why are you doing this? And I'm going to give you all the elements. But at the end of it, it needs to come down to this. If I sit down with Ace and say, Ace, let me tell you why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because of this and this and this and this. And then I go through the rest of this list. That's the reason he'll join the campaign long before he joins the company. He'll join the campaign first. He'll join me second. He'll join the company third. A lot of people are just trying to sell the company. They're not joining the company. They'll join the vision, and then they'll join the person. If they think the vision is viable, it's going to make them some money. Then if they think the person has a chance to help them make some money and move forward, then they'll look at the company. That's truth. That's truth. So why are you doing this? What results are you expecting? How will people benefit? What kind of people are you looking for? What is your game plan? And what kind of support are you going to offer? Sorry for my terrible handwriting. So why are you doing this? Tell the person, here, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Let me tell you the results that I expect to come out of it. Let me tell you how you and me and the whole group that participates are going to benefit from it. Let me tell you the kind of people that I'm looking for. Let me tell you the game plan that we're going to do to make it happen. And let me tell you the kind of support that I'm going to provide for the people who get engaged in this game plan. You in or you out. Is there anything about the product ingredients in here? Compensation plan? No. What did I tell you? What do they join first? The campaign. What do they join second? You, the person. Then they'll take a look at the company and the compensation plan, the product, and everything else. Don't get it mixed up. So if you think about this, why are you doing it? What results are you expecting? You got to think about this. Why are you doing it? Because this market is wide open and we get to be first. Because there's an epidemic of X going on and we have a solution. Because the economy is in a bad situation and we have a way to be able to help people out of it. You decide. This is your campaign. You decide what drives you and excites you, because whatever excites you, you're going to naturally attract to other people that are excited about that too. See what I mean? Identify yourself with your excitement, and people will naturally be attracted to you. Some will naturally go the other way. Pro-life, pro-choice. Do you want to try and argue that? Or would you just let whatever your stance is, you're going to attract people that agree? Just by saying, I am pro-blank. Half this audience is going to say, I'm with you. Other half is going to say, I'm with the other one. And I'm not with you. That's just the way it is. So I don't care what you're pro or what you're against, but be pro something, be against something. Identify yourself somehow, instead of just saying, oh, I have an opportunity. Somehow brand and identify yourself as something specific that they can latch onto and say, oh, you're like me. And you'll naturally attract those people. They'll go, oh, I found a home. I found a friend. We think the same way. We have the same beliefs. So think about your 90-day game plan story. We're going to talk about this more tomorrow. But your story is what's going to make the difference. See, here's the thing. I'm going to try and come down here without the mic freaking out. If I go to Julio, and I sit down with Julio, and where are you from?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Your ethnicity is? Hispanic. He's from Las Vegas. Hispanic. What's your background?
I'm a designer.
Designer. He was a designer. I'm a minimum wage kid, 18 jobs, age 22. I'm white, he's Hispanic. Are there differences? But if I jump up and down about soccer, and you like soccer, we're going to have something to connect with, right? If I jump up and down about, you know what, the economy is messed up, and people have been trapped in these cubicles for too long, and there's got to be a better way, and I think I found it. And I think we can help people get out of that bad situation. I'm just looking for people that'll lock arms with me and help me go help some people. You know, what's your plan? You want to do that? Do you not want to do that? See what I'm saying? So he's either interested in that or he's not. And if he's not, that's okay. Because how many people are interested in helping others? Show of hands? Well, that's pretty good common ground to start. And if you jump up and down about wanting to help other people, they're going to go, oh, I finally noticed. You actually mean it. They want to be around that. So if I talk about soccer, whatever it is that I'm passionate about, I could build a network marketing organization with only soccer fans. I could build a network marketing organization with only soccer fans who are fans of one club. Who's your favorite soccer team? Do you have one?
Not really.
No. Okay, who's your favorite soccer team? Do you like soccer? What? Las Vegas soccer team? Awesome, yay. But here's what I will tell you. If I did it for Barcelona, and that was it, and said, I will only work with fans of the Barcelona soccer team. So anybody in here fans of Barcelona soccer team? Anyone? 1, 2, 3. We need to talk. The rest of you, not interested in you. See what I'm saying? You could build a business just around that. Just around that one thing. Common ground, common interest, common likes, common passions. Whatever those passions are. So, you get what I'm saying? So if I go to you and I say, listen, Celine, let me tell you why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because this market is ready for someone to take charge. There's no one who's really capitalized in this market yet. There's a product that solves an epidemic problem with people that really care about helping others. The results of the people who lock arms with me, I think we could work 90 days and get a return and profit for years for just 90 days worth of work. So the results are mammoth. Not only will we benefit, but our paycheck is going to be a reflection of how many people we were able to help with the product and with the opportunity. If that makes you happy, that's what makes me happy, is seeing how we can help other people. I'm looking for ambitious, big-hearted, energetic, passionate people that want to help me with this mission. I don't know if you meet that criteria or not, but that's what I'm looking for. Here's the game plan. We're going to do this, and this over the next 90 days. We're going to do it together. We're going to learn and grow, and you're never going to get more support in your life, ever, in anything that you ever do, than the support that I'm going to provide. And not just because I know everything, but because I care. No one will work harder to help you get the maximum out of your effort than I will for the next 90 days. So let me ask you a question. Just assuming the product and the company and all that stuff work out, are you in or you out? I'm in.
Me too.
Him too. He's got his credit card. You see what I'm saying? Now, the story can't be fake. It's got to be real, but you need to craft it in a way where you can look into somebody's eyes and say, let's go on an adventure. Let's do it together. Let's figure it out as we go. Let's do something outrageous. Let's step away from ordinary. Let's do something spectacular. You know? Wouldn't that be fun? Be fun. Do you know anybody else that we can talk to about what I just talked to you about? See what I mean? And you're immediately going to think of boom, 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 boom. Can you think of them right now in your brain when I've just, based upon what I just shared with you, that we'd like to share with that with somebody else? How many people could think of somebody you'd like me to share that with? I'm telling you.
You do 3 ways.
Yeah, do I do 3 ways? What I'm telling you, none of that was magic. It's just that with some passion. So if the product and the opportunity, the compensation plan, all that stuff checks out, you in or you out? You ready to go? You want to do it with me? Let's go learn together. Let's grow together. You know, let's experience this together. Let's help people together. Wouldn't that be fun? See what I mean? So there's story. I want you to think about the story. I want you to be dreaming about the story. I want you to write out your story. I want you to start telling that story to everybody that you run into. When they ask you, so what do you do? Well, I do this, but let me tell you what I'm really excited about. Ba, 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 ba. And they're going to go, or they're going to go, either one, I'm all right. I'm all right. It's okay if they say no. I'm sorting, I'm sifting. Some people are stuck in the matrix. They're not ready. It's okay, I get it. And network marketing isn't for everyone. I believe it is, but some people just aren't going to want to do it, and that's all right. It's no problem. If you have an entrepreneurial bone in your body, I will fight till the day I die that this is a better way than traditional business ownership. It just is. But understand how important the story is. What do they buy first? The campaign. What do they buy second? The person, you. What do they buy third? The opportunity, the product, compensation plan. Some people, you know what they do? They go out there and they lead with the compensation plan. Let me tell you why we're special, because we have this compensation plan. Really? Compensation plans really don't matter much, folks. Everybody pays about the same percentage. They do it in different ways that reward different behaviors. So compensation plans are not a unique advantage. They're just not. And I will tell you this, another thing too. Products are not necessarily an amazing, unbelievable, game-changing advantage. Most of you work with companies that 10 years from today will not be selling what they're selling today. They'll be selling something else because things will have changed. 10 years ago, look at the landscape in network marketing. It was filled with different products that are not being sold today. Anybody remember Pignaginol? Remember? Where is it? Life-changing product. Where is it? Ephedra? Ephedra? Oof. I couldn't handle that stuff. Too much for me. But here's what I will tell you. Whatever it is, your products and services are going to change. They're going to evolve. It's not about that. Guess what the biggest advantage you have? Your passion and your skills. Your passion and your skills is your real security. That's what's going to separate you from the rest of the world. That's what's going to build a large organization. That's what's going to help you grow a network that expands around the world. That's what's going to do it. Your passion and your skills. That's it. That's the secret sauce, if there is a secret sauce. So you got to learn how to tell the story that relays your passion to another human being. And you got to be able to do this in 2-3 minutes. Not 20 or 30. That's the lazy way out. And that won't work. If you just jump up and down and tell people what you're passionate about, that's usually enough. It's usually enough. So you got this? You understand it? Yeah? Some of you got it here, some of you wrote it down, but there's only about 20 or 30 of you that I really feel like got it. And here's what I'm telling you. This has to be a priority. How you tell this to another human being. What you're passionate about and why you're passionate about it and who you're looking for and how they're going to benefit and the support that you're going to provide. It's got to be a priority because that's what they're going to join. They're going to join that story. They're not going to join, they're going to join that story first, then they're going to join you. If they like you, then they're going to join your company. You guys have it all figured out when it comes to telling people about your company and your product and your comp plan and the support the company provides. And that's all generic stuff to the world. This is what you got to practice, what you got to get down, what you got to get in your being. So when people ask you, when you do a 3-way call, you tell this story. When you get in front of the room to do your home party, before I start, let me tell you this story. When you do your opportunity presentation, you're telling this story. When you do your conference call, you're telling this story. When you sit down one-on-one, before we have coffee, let me tell you this story. That's what's going to drive you. The rest of the stuff is just noise. This is what's going to build a connection with another human being. The rest of the stuff is just white noise. So, 1, decision. How many people have made a decision of level 1, level 2, or level 3? You've decided which level you're going to be. Okay, good. That's the key. We talked about this. Jordan talked about this. We're going to continue to talk about this. The decision is everything. Once the decision happens, everything gets easy. Until it happens, everything stays hard. Just know that. And the decision, like he said, I loved his analogy of jumping off with a hang glider. That's a decision. You know, you're committed now, baby. It's the same kind of thing. But in network marketing, people just go, ready? Oh, I'm not so sure. You know what I mean? I'm going to stay here a little while longer. Why am I not flying? You know? So decision. Preparation. Preparation. Deciding, once you've decided, and I'd like you to write a number on your legal pad, the number of hours you're willing to commit for your 90-day game plan per week. The number of hours you're personally, not you as a couple, you are willing to commit to building your business over the course of your 90-day game plan, whenever that starts. Okay, I'm not saying it has to start tomorrow. I'm just saying, what's the number? Write a number down. You can change it. It's not set in stone. You can change it, but for right now, put a number down. So part of this preparation is commitment. As far as those hours, that's one of the first things. The time. What kind of time are you going to put in? Are you really going to do this? Are you staying clear and you're really doing it? Like you're employing yourself? Like there's going to be penalties if you don't do it that you're going to apply to yourself? There's going to be rewards if you do it that you're going to apply to yourself? Like you're really showing up for a job during those hours? Are they going to be rigid hours or are they going to be flexible hours? Which would be more beneficial to you? If they were specific and scheduled, what I would suggest is during your 90 days, you set your calendar for your business and you force the world to work around that. It's the rock in the river. Your schedule for your network marketing business is the rock in the river, and everything else has to flow around that and figure out around that. Because if you'll make that unmovable, the rest of your world will say, okay, I guess we can't do it during those hours. I guess we can't do this during those hours. We have to do other things. We got to move around it. Once you schedule it, once you lock it down, then that's the work time. Now, of course, you can be flexible, but be careful. One thing that I've noticed inside of network marketing is people say, I like to treat it like a business. And a friend of mine said a great saying. He said, treat it like a job, not like a business. People treat it like a business. They get the sniffles. They don't work for a week. They treat it like a job. They haven't missed a day in 4 years. Because that's how they approach their job versus how they approach their business. This little, flexible thing that they don't ever have to really commit to. So decide how serious you are about this, what the hours are. The more scheduled you can make it, the better. Figure out the schedule. Figure out the sacrifice. What are you prepared to sacrifice over the course of the 90 days in order to make this happen? Nothing? Something? Do you know how many hours of television the average person watches? Okay? People think, well, people don't watch TV anymore. They're all on their phones. They're all on their iPads. They're all on their whatever. Okay? Average 20-year-old doesn't look like they watch TV at all, does it? Not at all. They're just on every device in the world, right? Do you watch TV very much? Not very much. The average in the United States, that's 15 hours a day. 10 hours a day, 5 hours a day. Okay, so the average 20-year-old watches it about 4 hours a day. Okay? Average 30-year-old, about 5. 40-year-old, about 8. 50-year-old, about 10. a day. A day. 60 to 70 peaks out at around 11 hours a day. A day. The older you get, the more you watch. 4 hours a day on average for a 20-something, and it just goes straight up from there. Okay? Now, one of the things you could sacrifice is your television. One of the things you could sacrifice is Facebook, God forbid. Maybe you could limit yourself to 15 minutes a day, maximum, while you're working, while you're in build mode, just to be able to connect with other people, not to be able to hang out and surf. What are you prepared? Are you prepared to back up on some of your hobbies? Maybe not engage in your hobbies as aggressively as you normally do during that period of time? Are you prepared to give up entertainment? Are you prepared to give up? Now, if you're going all out, if you're level 3, this is no discussion. It's everything. There is nothing left. Other than that one day a week that you take off, the other 6 days are full. There's no time for anything but the telephone or meeting people face to face. That's it. No time for anything else. Okay? So think about what you're prepared to sacrifice. I don't know what it is for you. What is your thing that slowly and sneakily sucks up all of your time? What are you prepared to sacrifice? All distractions are equal. Anything that takes you away from your goal needs to be eliminated during this period of time. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm speaking mostly to the all-out people, the level 3 people, but even the level 1 and level 2, they need, during their time that they've scheduled, to eliminate all distractions during that time. Whether it's 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, whatever it is. So I'm going to get radical for a moment, and let me just talk about level 3 for a moment, okay? This is how I really did it. During this 90 days, every distraction that is not growing your business needs to be put in a tiny little box. And this seems way out of control, but it's what you came here for. Email is a convenient organizing system for other people's agendas. It will keep you going all day without being focused on your purpose. Just cleaning up your email. Some people, that's their goal for the day. I got to clean up my email. I got to clean up my email. Somebody's got to clean up my email. They can't sleep at night unless their email is empty. How many are in my inbox? 45,000? It's not going to happen, ever. And they're not my agendas anyway. If it's important to me, it's getting done. The 45,000 that I haven't even opened or looked at or responded to, that are stacked up in there, if it's important, I'll send another one. Be careful that you don't get sucked down this email trap. Social media. It's today's addiction. There was cocaine in the 80s. You think I'm joking? You think I'm joking? There's a chemical reaction from all of that interaction. It happens every time you get a little like. You go, ooh, somebody liked me. They don't care. They're just going through like, don't like, don't like, whatever. Dancing cats, okay, like, don't like. Oh, it's these people's birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Real personal. Don't get me wrong, it's one of the greatest inventions ever used properly. Used properly as a tool, not as a trap. Don't let Facebook stock soar because of your addiction. Okay? Social media. Oh boy, this might be a tough one. Dating. I'm just saying. Maybe you need to be a little bit busy for these 90 days. Not distracted. Focused. You know what I'm saying? Some people are addicted to Match.com or whatever. I got all these dates going on. It's kind of, hey, somebody winked at me. Ah, okay. Serious. Sports. Television. Parties. Movies. Hobbies. Groceries. Does that sound weird? Sounds weird, right? The lawn. The laundry. Sound weird? Let me tell you something. I've been mentored by a couple billionaires in my career. A few billionaires have given me coaching that helped me dramatically. Let me tell you what billionaires have in common. One, they are so focused. Anybody know a billionaire in the room? Anybody? A few of you? You know a billionaire, right? You can attest to this, right? They're so focused on their purpose on this earth, their mission on this earth, whatever that mission is, that purpose is, they're so focused that everything else disappears. They don't pay attention to all the other stuff. They don't look at things like you and I look at things. They don't pay attention to the little stuff. One of the billionaire friends that I have, he hasn't written a check in 25 years. He hasn't gone clothes shopping for 25 years. We couldn't tell you what inside of a grocery store looks like. He's so focused on his mission on earth that he has people take care of that, and he looks at it once a month. He looks at it, okay, that looks good. They bring clothes to him to try on. And if he likes it, he wears the same blazer he's worn for 7 years. It's shiny. Not on purpose. It's the weirdest thing. But one of my earliest billionaire mentors, he said, Eric, how much money do you want to make? I said, well, I'm a fan of Jim Rohn. I like this idea of $1 million a year. That sounds good. Be a millionaire. He said, well, $1 million a year is about $500 an hour. Is there a task that you could do that could pay that amount? And in network marketing, the answer is of course. Talking to prospects, we just showed by the math, will pay that kind of money, if that's what really all you're doing. I said, well, yeah, there is. There's a task that I could do that would pay $500 an hour. He said, well, what you need to do is spend as many hours as possible doing that, and anything under $500 an hour that can be done by someone else, you need to have somebody else do. So that was the day I stopped mowing the lawn. Serious. I don't service the hot tub, and I don't tune up the jet skis, and I had one time when I decided to be a hero. With a very expensive car. Oh, brutal. But I just don't. I don't do that stuff. You guys heard the story, right? The R8. I have the Audi R8. Really nice car. It's like the Iron Man, super cool Tony Stark car. Amazing automobile, super fun. And we had it in the car during winter because we live in Minnesota. So I pulled it out and it said coolant low. Okay. Engine's in the back, under the glass, all that stuff. So we went up to the gas station. I was going to get it washed. And so I pull out some coolant and I open up the back and I put some coolant in. Felt manly. Close the top up and It still said coolant low, so I went and bought some more coolant, and I topped that sucker off. Drove around to the car wash, and all of a sudden white smoke is billowing out of my car. So I had put coolant in the oil. So it's only $40,000 for a new engine. It literally blew the engine up. So, but there's always a moral to the story. Moral to the story, if it's under $500 an hour, have somebody else do it. That's number one. Second moral to the story is I had insurance. And the insurance covered the whole thing, except for a $1,000 deductible. Couldn't believe it. Stupidity insurance. Unbelievable. How does that even happen? But my analogy is, guess what your insurance is in network marketing? Your skills. Your skills. Everything can blow up. You can make huge mistakes, and your skills will still be able to take care of you. You might pay a little price, a little deductible, in messing it up, but your skills will build it back. Now, back to our story. Whoa. Back to our story. Yeah. Hold on. I think I got it. We all right? Okay. So back to the story, under $500 an hour. If it's under $500 an hour and somebody else can do it, I have them do it so I can focus on those tasks. And I've done that for 20 plus years. And I strongly believe that that's the reason why I was able to do what I've been able to do over the course of my career. Still to this day. I just don't let my brain get stuck there. I stay on high productivity tasks. And I suggest you do the same thing. If it can be done, do it. If it can't be done, it needs to be done by you, like tucking your kids in at night. Well, yes, that's under $500 an hour. Somebody else could do it, but you probably should. You know what I mean? So whatever this is, guess what one of the biggest distractions in you doing a 90-day game plan is going to be? Your old group. Your existing group. Your existing organization. You ever, how many people have young kids? Anybody? Okay. Have you ever noticed that as soon as you get on the phone, they get crazy? They start screaming, hollering, jumping up and down, bashing in the walls. As soon as you hang up, dead quiet again. Same exact phenomena when you go do a 90-day game plan. As soon as you start, your existing group is going to say, I need you, mommy, daddy, I need you. Blah! Then they won't stop. And as soon as you stop building your next campaign and you look to them, they just go, oop. What'd you need? Nothing. You go back to building and blah, 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 blah. He's touching me. She's pulling my hair. My product is one day late. Blah. Constant, unbelievable. Your existing group. You've got to deal with the distraction. Now, you don't walk away from them. You don't cut the cord entirely. But what you tell them, listen, for 90 days, I'm going to bring in the class of 2014. And understand, I know that you might be a little jealous when this new baby comes home from the hospital. And you might want to have a little bit more attention. But understand, we're all going to be part of the same family. And we're going to go on vacations together. It's going to be wonderful. You need to tell them, you got to give me the space to be able to do it. I need you as a leader to step up. I need you to be the person doing the presentations. I need you to be the person doing the weekly calls. I need you to do this, and I need you to do that. Once a week, let's touch base, but outside of that, I'm bringing in the class of 2014, baby. We're going to take this to another level. Will you give me that space to do it? And then I'll come right back in and plug right back in to what we've been doing up until this point. I can't be a great leader to you unless I demonstrate that leadership by bringing in more people and helping more people see the opportunity personally. Will you give me the space to do that? You've got to have that conversation, because if you don't have that conversation, you're going to have a real problem. the biggest thing that you got to do in preparation, I think, is negotiate with family. You got to negotiate with your family. You got to go to them and say, listen, here's what I think I need to do to take my business to the next level in the next 90 days. Are you with me? Will you support me? You don't need to do it with me. You don't need to do anything. Just, give me a pat on the back every once in a while. Don't give me a big guilt trip as I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I've done these campaigns without talking to family, and I promise you it's the worst idea ever, because you're signing them up into a program that they might not have wanted to sign up on, because the whole family's going to feel it. So I learned to be able to go with respect to the family and say, including the kids, and say, listen, here's what Dad needs to do. And it's going to be for all of our benefit, and I need your help. I need you to help out around the house a little bit more. I need you to work with your brothers and sisters a little bit more. I need you to clean up a little bit more. I need you to let me have the space in order to be able to do what I need to do. Because here's the fake out, kids. I'm going to be home, but I'm not really going to be home. I'm going to be here, but I'm going to be working really, really hard. And I need you to cheer me on. I need you to push me when I start watching TV. Don't let Dad do it. Kick me out of the room and put me back on the phone. Engage them in the process. Let them feel a part of it. And then also let them know that there's a benefit on the other side. When we're done, we'll all go camping, or we'll all go to Disneyland, or we'll all do something that we wanted to do, or you know what I mean? Let them know that there's a benefit as a family if we go to the other side. Now, for you that have spouses and maybe not so supportive of a spouse, tell this story of here's what I'm about to do to a non-supportive spouse, and just say, listen, just give me 90 days of white hot all out. If you'll give me that, then we'll evaluate after this 90 days. I know you're tired of watching me crawl. I know you're tired of watching me get 2% out of the effort here instead of 100% when it's distracting the family. I know you're frustrated with you seeing all the effort and not seeing a paycheck. I get it. Let me go 90 days all out. Let me go 90 days like my life hung in the balance. And then we'll evaluate together as a family. Fair enough? Now you're on the line, and they'll give you the space. They'll encourage it. Go then. Do it. If you're going to do it, do it. Show me what you've got. And then 90 days later, you can sit down, look at the results, see the short-term results, see the long-term potential, and you can talk about it. Now you're on the hook too. The clock's ticking. You got to go. You got to make something happen. So negotiating with family, in my opinion, is critical. Anything less than, on top of that, anything less than $500 an hour, if your goal is to make $1 million a year. That was a life changer for me. That little concept changed everything. Marina will tell you, that's where I spend and most of my family don't understand me. My brothers and sisters and stuff, they don't get me at all. Because I'm not handy, I don't do that stuff. I purposely stay stupid about those types of things. But I'm thinking about, how can I provide value to a larger group of people? How can I tell the story in a way that will inspire a larger group? How can I do that? That's where my brain is all the time. All the time. So, encourage you to do the same. All right, so preparation, you got it? Now, in addition to this, the preparation's not done. This is just kind of the clear the decks. Stage 1, clear the decks. Get rid of all the distractions. In preparation, you might need to get tools. Are there tools that you use inside of your company that you need to have on hand ready to go as part of your preparation? Do you use GoPro or the GoPro audiobook as part of your system? If you do, you might want to have some on hand. Does your company provide things? Are there product samples that you're going to use in your campaign that you need to have on hand? Get that stuff in your possession and ready to go. Then in preparation, start recruiting. Recruit your inner circle. Now, here's what I'll tell you. This phase is one of the most powerful and misunderstood phases in the entire profession. Let me give you an example. Let me jump down this side and say hi over here. So, preparation. If I'm going to go talk to Philip, hi Philip, and I'm going to tell him the story. Remember we talked about story? Those things, bop, 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 bop. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what we're going to do it. Here's the people I'm looking for. Here's the support I'm going to provide. Let's just assume everything checks out. Are you in or you out? In. Okay, that was my posture, especially in preparation phase. It's what I call a whisper campaign. Okay? Preparation phase says, listen, Philip, I'm about to do something. And it hasn't started yet. It's about to start. And I'm putting together the dream team, the best of the best. The people who are the most powerful people I know, people who are influential, people who are passionate, people who have similar hopes and dreams and goals that I have, people who care about helping other people. And the people who get involved at this early stage, before we launch this thing, the people who get involved in this stage are going to be the ones that get the greatest benefit. They're going to be the ones that literally help mold this whole vision, this whole mission of what we're going to do together, okay? We're together. We're putting together the kind of this inner circle of people who are going to help guide this whole process. Now, here's why this is important. I'm talking to Philip early on, and Philip is somebody, you can recruit people in this phase that you can't recruit in any other phase. They won't listen. Their ego will not let them listen. There are people that you can talk to that says, I haven't talked to anybody else. This isn't public. It's just between you and me. Okay? Now he feels special. He feels respected. He feels honored. If I talk to him when I'm just talking to everybody, oh yeah, Philip, I wanted to talk to you too. He's not coming. For there's certain people, you have them in your brain, the people that would only come during this phase, they'd come, but the window's got to be just right. This is that just right window to get the real dream team, where you think about the best you could possibly think of and say, listen, this might not be for you. I don't know if it is or isn't, but I got to tell you my story anyway, right? And I'm putting together the dream team. Not that I'm like the leader or anything. I just have this vision. I'm looking for people who can lock arms. We can do it together. And when I thought about who's the best of the best of the best, I thought about you. So I figured I'd have the conversation, tell you the story. Here's what I'm doing. Here's who I'm looking for. Here's the mission. Here's the game plan to make it happen. Here's the support we're going to provide. And the reward for this group is going to be off the chart of any other group that ever gets involved. So assuming everything proves out, you in or you out. See what I mean? So you have an opportunity to talk to very influential people here that wouldn't look any other time. It's this special window to be able to say, I got to show you this thing. Question?
Should you talk person to person, or it could be done over the phone?
Person to person or over the phone. In the preparation phase, I would, if it's local, I would do person to person because it's more respectful. I did some crazy things. Thank you. Is that a mic or is it tape? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Tape it up. I did crazy things in preparation phases before. I'll give you an example. I called a couple who lived in Sacramento, California. I live in Minneapolis. I called them and I said, are you going to be home tomorrow? They said yes. I said, okay, I'm flying out. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll rent a car. I'll be at your house around 5. What's it about? I'll tell you when I get there. And then I said, guess what? Looked him in the eye, told him the story. But when I walked in, they just said, what are we joining? It was over. They were coming in, for sure. So there's some people, I felt like the phone would cheapen it in this phase sometimes. You know what I mean? They needed the respect of the actual face-to-face interaction in order to be able to make. I'm not saying that has to be all the time, but for highly influentials or during this phase, if you can do it, do it. If you don't have the means, you could do a Skype one face-to-face. That can help. You know, at least you're looking each other in the eye, using your technology to be able to do it. But this inner circle, I'm telling you, this is where I would, typically in preparation phase, I've usually have 5 to 10 key people committed, ready to go, ready to lock arms, usually 5 to 10, just in preparation phase. I'm just putting it all together. I'm putting together all the details. The game plan's coming together. Here's what we're going to be doing. Let's work on it together. Let's get together. Let's map it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So you have the ability to kind of reach people that you can't reach any other time. Influence them in a particular way. Here's what I would suggest against. Don't recruit your existing team into this inner circle. That's one thing that a lot of people do. They misunderstand. And they go to their existing team and say, psst, come into this inner circle and we're going to all lock arms. We're going to do this together. This needs to be about you bringing in that new class of 2014, 2015, 2016. Not just recruiting your existing group in the hopes that they're going to finally do something. Okay? This happens a lot. People say, well, I really want to bring my team with me. Here's the challenge with mixing new team and existing team. Existing team usually have a list of things that they're blaming, a list of excuses, a list of little horror stories, a list of the times when the company went through this challenge. They got all this psychic damage. They got this stuff piled up. They got their belief systems all shaken. And when they bring in a brand new person comes into that existing team, and that existing team says, well, let us tell you some of the stories we've been through. The new person goes, oh, that doesn't sound exciting like what the guy said we were going to do. That doesn't sound like this, preparation thing. It sounds like you guys have worn out, tired soldiers. So you got to build a team in its own little incubator. Grow that team, and then when they're strong enough to fly, then integrate them with the rest of the group. Once they've been prepared mentally. Okay? If you mix them too soon, I promise you they'll fall to the lowest common denominator just like that. They won't feel special. Group goals. Set some goals among that group, that inner circle group. Challenge them to do something special. Challenge them to go out there and build their own inner circle. Challenge them to prepare really, really well and get ready to go. As part of the inner circle, ask them to make some commitments. That they're going to be involved on all the calls, that they're going to be involved at the events, that they're going to be committed to the growth of the organization, that there's not going to be any whining, there's not going to be any complaining. This is big boys and girls only. Whiners and complainers, they get to go to the other meeting, not part of this group. Serious. Really important. Really important. Create some competition. Awards. Recognition. This is one of my favorite things to do in all of network marketing. One of my favorite things to do is bring in 10 people and create some competition among the 10. Somebody starts going. They start moving, and they go through that first rank. As soon as that first person hits that first rank, I go to the rest of the 10, and I said, they just hit it, that first rank. They were the first one to do it out of all of you. Do you think they're better than you? No. So, well, they did it in this amount of time. How much longer are you going to take before you're there? Who's going to be the last one to get there among this group? I wonder. Once somebody recruits somebody, I call everybody else and say, guess what? That person just recruited one of the highest, most powerful people ever. Let me tell you how they did it. And the rest of the group goes, oh, I want to do that too. See what I mean? Somebody invites and brings people to a presentation, the other people don't. I'm going to encourage the other people. And if Colin here gets to a particular rank, and I tell Ace, and Ace says, oh yeah, and he moves up a little bit, I'm going straight back to Colin and say, Ace just thinks he's better than you because he just passed you too. And as soon as you pass him, I'm going back to Ace. And then back to Colin, and then back to Ace, and then back to Colin. And I'm going to push him and push him and push him and push him and push him. And I'm going to provide awards, and I'm going to provide recognition. I'm going to have a little inner circle leaderboard. You know what I mean? I'll have little things like movie tickets or dinner out or set up a call with the CEO of the company for the first person that does whatever. See what I mean? Lots of little things in order to be able to create excitement and momentum. And also, I would tell you, in your preparation phase, set your dates. When are you going to pre-launch? When are you going to launch? If there's an event, when are you going to hold the event? That kind of thing. Set the dates. You might not have them when you start your preparation, but pretty soon you'll have them. Set the dates, get things moving.